Hello and welcome everybody to the vooplayer questions and answers weekly webinar call. Before we get started, could we just get a couple of confirmations that the audio and video are okay? So just if you could in the chat box, just confirm that you can hear my voice as well as see my screen, and then we can get started. Thank you. All right, William is saying that everything is all right. Dave, Tracy, hello everyone, and Happy New Year. Wish you all the best and a lot of business success in 2018. So let's get started. A brief introduction up front. My name is Peter. I am the product manager of vooplayer, and we are holding these Q&A weekly calls in order to answer any questions which you may have, as well as in order to provide training on any advanced features, to gather feedback from you guys as users on how we can improve, and also to showcase new stuff that we've been working on. With that in mind, the last couple of sessions, considering that 2017 has wrapped up and we're initiating 2018, we were doing a lot of planning with regards to how we want to roadmap out the future initiatives for 2018. So we haven't been working on any major new stuff, and we had a lot of restructuring in our team. So we've put together a pretty solid plan of what we want to accomplish in 2018, and I've touched on that in the last couple of webinars. So once again, we're ready to initiate the efforts on developing new features, and we have a pretty solid roadmap. You can check out some details regarding that in our release notes, monthly release notes for the month of December with regards to what we're going to be focusing on in 2018. All right, so with regards to the format of the webinar, at any time that you have a question, just feel free to drop it in the chat box, and we'll answer them. Also, we started posting in the Facebook group to see if anybody had any prepared questions for us before we get started. Let me just check on the Facebook group just to make sure to see if we had any questions in there. Let's see. No questions in the Facebook group thus far, so we can get straight to the questions which you may have. You can just drop them in the chat box. Until questions start rolling in, there are a few things which I wanted to touch base on with regards to some of the updates which we started making. Last week, I briefly touched on this, but we've added support for Instagram videos inside of vooplayer. So now you can grab any Instagram video and just drop it in the same way that you would drop in YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, or any other link. You can just add an Instagram video now, and that's going to work flawlessly with vooplayer as well. So some people have been asking for that, and it was a pretty quick implementation on our behalf. So we've added support for that. Another thing, a question which arose during the last webinar session, I believe, was with regards to controlling the, let me just put this side by side, controlling the aspect ratio of the embedded players. So here I have a video which you can obviously see was shot with a phone in a portrait mode rather than in the landscape mode. So we're getting this display of the video with black edges on its sides. And previously in vooplayer, it was pretty tricky to adjust this to be able to play in the portrait mode, so the player itself would be embedded as a portrait player. So an enhancements which we made last week, and I think this rolled out to production today, so it's available to everybody, is now when you go to your publish options and you're generating your embed code for the player, there is a new toggle over here which says custom aspect ratio and orientation. So when I come over here, I can choose from a lot of different presets, such as, so this is an HD standard video, or I could force it to be a square player, or use some other unusual variations which are very rare to come by, but some people have a need for them. So I'll just grab this HD standard, and instead of landscape mode, I'll just switch it to the portrait mode. So that generated a new embed code for me, and what I'll do, I'll just paste it below this old embed code, and I'm just going to update that post. So now when I come back to this page, if that will update, so it updated. So I'll just refresh this. So now you can see that the new embed code generates a player which is automatically in portrait mode. So when I play this video, let me just pause it so we don't have a lot of feedback, then it plays like a portrait player. So once again, we've introduced a custom aspect ratio and orientation control that allows you to customize the embedded player by choosing from a lot of different ratio presets, such as HD standard definition, which is 4:3, or a square, and then you can choose for each one of those, you can choose their orientation, whether you want them to be in portrait or landscape mode. So that's one of the enhancements which we've made. All right, I see a lot of questions are piling up, so let me take a brief pause on the new stuff and start addressing some of these. So Tracy is asking, do I need to keep my Vimeo account if I have a vooplayer? No, you do not. So one of the great things about vooplayer is that a lot of people are finding it as a good use case to migrate from Wistia or Vimeo or other providers. So if, for example, I was a Wistia or Vimeo user, what I could do is I can come over here to mass import, and then I can say import from an external source, and I can choose Vimeo over here. And then I can authorize vooplayer to use my Vimeo account. And after I log in with all of that, let's see, I think I do have a Vimeo account. I'm not sure if I do, but let me make sure that I do. So I'm just going to authorize myself with Vimeo, and that's going to give me this authentication token, and that's all I need. I'll just paste that in here, I believe. So once I click on get my videos, and again, I'm not necessarily sure that that's my ID, but basically that will list out all of my videos from Vimeo, and then I would have an option to migrate all of them inside of vooplayer. And basically we download all of those videos and move them to our servers. So once the migration is complete from either Vimeo or Wistia, and all of those videos are now inside of vooplayer, there is no need to keep paying a subscription fee to either Vimeo or Wistia. Basically, we want to make that migration complete so that you now have only one centralized resource for hosting your videos. So Tracy, in short, once you migrate your videos, there is no reason to keep your other subscriptions, aside from if you still have some of the videos on some sites working from that subscription, until you migrate, change all of those videos on your sites to start using the vooplayer embed code. After that, you have no reason to keep those other subscriptions. So hopefully that answers that. Eric is saying, I am a new user. Are these webinars recorded and former webinars available somewhere? Yes. So Eric, one great resource for everybody who are joining vooplayer currently is the vooplayer Facebook group, in which we are constantly posting everything that's new, all of the webinars. We have a lot of interesting discussions in here. So here are December release notes. Here is the yesterday's webinar replay link in case you missed it. So all of them are being posted to Facebook. And also, additionally, you may also, if you like using YouTube, for example, find a lot of benefit from the vooplayer channel on YouTube on which there is a playlist for vooplayer weekly Q&A webinar replays. So that's I'm going to drop this in the chat box so you guys can sign up to that and follow vooplayer on YouTube so you can get instant notifications whenever a new replay is posted there, or simply join the Facebook group and you can participate there in the discussion, as well as have all of the replay links delivered there. All right, so that answers that. Tracy is saying, any ability to add skins to the video plays through a frame that looks like an iPhone or an iPad? No, we don't have any support for allowing videos to have any sort of device skins on them thus far. There have been a couple of requests for similar features, but it's just not something that we found major use cases for. So we usually leave it up to the people to develop their own integrations for vooplayer. It's something for us to consider, but there is a lot of side considerations like sizing of those devices and keeping those devices matching up the perfect ratios with the backgrounds of those devices. So there's been requests, but not something that we've actively considered. So it's kind of in our backlog. But the more people request it, the more priority that feedback gets. So I'll note that more people are asking for support for skins, such as embedding the player in an iPhone or an iPad or on a laptop, etc., etc. All right. Can you discuss the best way to manage usage, storage, and bandwidth so we don't go over? That is a really good question. So let me just give this a minute's thought just to see how I want to approach this. We definitely need to kind of break it down, even though storage and bandwidth are close related, but a lot of that depends on the use case basis. So if you're a person who maybe has a lot of different videos but doesn't have a lot of plays, then definitely storage is going to be a major concern for you rather than bandwidth. However, if it could happen that you can have one video that it's like an hour video, let's say a movie that you're selling, and that only occupies 1 gigabyte, but you have millions of monthly views, then bandwidth is obviously gonna be a bigger concern for you. So basically, just to break it down, bandwidth is impacting the amount of, let me just turn off those notifications. Bandwidth is impacting the amount of traffic to your videos, and the storage is the literal space on the server that your videos are occupying. So by default, if I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to this, but I believe enterprise license gets 50 gigabytes of storage, and with the ability to buy additional storage on per needed basis, whereas the enterprise license gets 200 gigabytes of bandwidth on monthly basis, which resets every month, also with the ability to buy additional bandwidth. Now, as far as storage goes, there's not much that you can do. So your video is that big and it has that big of a resolution and it lasts for a certain amount of time. So basically, once you upload that video, you're consuming a certain storage amount. In addition to which, we take your video and we convert it to different resolutions. So that also starts adding up to the consumption of storage. So the only recommendation that I could make with regards to storage is really don't upload anything that you're not going to be using. So there is a lot of benefits to uploading videos, such as the ability for us to serve it over our cloud delivery network. However, if you have some things which are just not getting any traction, just make sure that you're constantly purging those. Now, as far as turbo bandwidth goes, you have slightly better management options there. So For each video which has been uploaded to vooplayer, such as this 1, 2, 3 video, you have an ability to come over here to player settings for that video, and on video basis you can let me just minimize this a little bit so we're not jumping all over the place. You could disable turbo bandwidth for a particular video. So if some videos are more important to you than others, the performance of those videos, then you can just disable turbo bandwidth on some of those videos and allow it on other videos. Basically, also just to clarify for new folks who are joining, vooplayer offers unlimited bandwidth, meaning that any video which you upload to vooplayer, you have, of course, you have unlimited number of videos, so we're never going to charge you on per video basis, and you can have an unlimited number of views for that video. So you can have 20 million views for all we care, and we're not going to charge you any extra. However, so you have unlimited bandwidth basically. However, where our sort of kicker is that we offer what is called the turbo bandwidth, which offers much faster streaming of those videos over regular bandwidth. However, we do have a cost on our end for providing that turbo bandwidth, so that needs to be passed on to users by covering a subscription fee for that service of X gigabytes or terabytes per month that you are using. So that turbo bandwidth included in the license subscription is set at 200 gigabytes per month, which we believe is kind of sufficient for most users because they have a balance of uploaded videos versus linked videos and so on and so on. However, that's kind of where we find a fair balance between value and cost. So that turbo bandwidth is allowing for faster streaming. However, always if you have a need for additional turbo bandwidth and performance, you have the ability to come over here and say, hey, those 200 gigabytes are not sufficient for me, so I want to buy additional bandwidth, and you can expand your bandwidth package with, let's say, 1 terabyte of bandwidth, and that's never going to, that's just going to be utilized when you step over those 500 gigabytes. So if, for example, I've bought a terabyte of bandwidth and I had 200 gigabytes of bandwidth in my monthly package, and I've used 300 gigabytes this month, then basically next month I'm going to have a new 200 gigabytes and additional 900 gigabytes, all because I overstepped by. So these are completely transferable month to month until you use them, and they only kick in once you step over your monthly limit. So hopefully that makes sense. As far as kind of how you can manage and make sure that you're not utilizing more than you should, we've done a lot of optimizations on our end, from making sure that videos don't buffer beyond the point that they need to in order to kind of cut on that bandwidth. We're also making sure that we're not serving higher resolutions to lower internet speeds, so that again we're cutting costs there where needed. So we've done a lot of optimizations on our end. As far as what you could do, you could seriously always purge make sure that you're up to date and that you don't have any outdated videos which you're not using. So just purge those videos from your storage you can just come over here and just click on, I want to delete this video, and that's gonna get rid of those files. And as far as bandwidth, if there are some videos which are, if you're trying to be cost effective, if there are some videos which don't have such an impact on performance, you can always disable the bandwidth for those as I've shown you. All right, let's see. VJ is saying where to download most current vooplayer WordPress plugin. Let me just make sure that I think I have. Yeah, in this example, I was using our test vooplayer environment. So the best place to do that is, for a while we were in beta mode with our WordPress plugin, but currently, if you can always just go to your WordPress installation and just click on Add New Plugin, and then you can just search for vooplayer. and that's gonna list out the latest version, which has been updated 2 weeks ago. So just make sure that you install directly from the vooplayer repository, and you're gonna have the latest version always inside of your WordPress installation. So for a while, we were in the beta mode with the vooplayer before, so we were requesting external download of a zip and then upload through the upload plugin module, but currently we're fully listed on the WordPress repository and are updating there with the latest versions. So just make sure that you go to plugins, add new, search for vooplayer, and you'll see the vooplayer v4 plugin, which is the current version which we're supporting. All right. Tracy is also asking, does vooplayer work with LearnDash to link videos to a learning management system? Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with LearnDash and how it works. I think I've seen a support ticket for this a while ago that our support team was discussing. I can look more into it, but basically, so as far as publishing vooplayer videos, let me just pull back the application. So you have a couple of options. One, of course, is again, not too familiar with LearnDash, so apologies if some of this information is redundant. But if you go to publish options for any video, you have the ability to embed that video. So you can just copy this code, and if LearnDash has some sort of an HTML code module where you can paste this in, then you can play those videos on those pages. Some content management and learning management systems are pretty strict about being able to use script elements from third parties such as vooplayer or any other. So they are disabling this script, which means that you're not able to embed this regular embed code. And that is a reason because of which we provided an additional option where we have down here, if you can see it, where it says fallback code, and use this option only if you're having troubles with the regular code. So if I turn this fallback code option on, that's going to give me a slightly different code that doesn't have that script element, and some very advanced features for which that script is used are disabled. So you can use this as sort of a fallback if you want to embed that player on those LearnDash pages. So that's one option which you have. Another option, of course, is you can always generate a link to a particular page. That's called our watch page, our publish page. So you can just embed those URLs in the content in the learning management system, and then you can trace and track people who are watching that, probably because you want to see who has completed which course. So let me actually kind of segue into that. So one of the additional enhancements which we've made last week has been a lot of improvements to our analytics. So yeah, let me just find one video which might be good for this. Let me find, let's say, this new protection video. So if you come to the analytics for any video, and all of these analytics are accounting from, regardless from where your video was watched, whether it's from the embedded player or from the watch page. Sorry, I think I refreshed that page. So let's load it up. So in the analytics, you can overview all of the people who have watched your videos, and we've recently made a lot of enhancements to the analytics module to make sure that some of this data is much more easier to understand. And if time permits, I'll go into more detail with regards to that. But basically, I don't think I have, no, I have a couple of people signed up to some of these videos. So you can come into the additional details for each viewer. So here I watched my video, or somebody else for that matter, watched that video, and now I can come into the viewer details for that particular person, and then see that that person has watched this particular video several times, and that they've watched some other videos of mine or some other courses. So this is a nifty way in which you can keep track of the pupils in your class, people participating in your courses, and view and overview their progress, as well as there's also some additional options which allow you to take action based on if they've completed a particular video, and so on and so on. But I won't go into that unless there are some specific questions regarding that, because that is a very, very comprehensive overview of the audience features. So in short, something that I wanted to touch base on is that we've kind of redesigned the analytics module and how it works. Previously, we had a heat map which was covering the entire video, and now we've kind of decided that wasn't necessarily too very, very intuitive to understand. So that's why we've changed this to a bar graph, which shows you which part of the video has how many, what percentage of engagement, and that way you can quickly understand which points of your video are getting the most engagement from your viewers. And also some of the interactions, as you can see, are different, and we've restructured some of the interface, allowing you to segment out by particular days, as well as to overview the demographics for that for those videos, as well as seeing the referrals and the trends for that video, and so on and so on. So there's been a big redesign of this, and we're kind of going to write all of that up in the release notes, so you can get a better understanding of how all of that works. But hopefully it's much more intuitive now, and it gives you a better ability to find your viewers and see what they've been doing, and extract some valuable data from their interactions with your videos. All right, let's see if there are any other questions. Let's see, Shade is saying, yes, it's posted in the Facebook group, and there, yep, all right. Dave, how much space do we have for hosting with vooplayer? I've mentioned that by default, the enterprise licenses get 50 gigabytes of storage with additional space being able to be purchased. Currently, I believe we offer a 10 gigabyte expansion pack at $3 a month, and we are very soon integrating additional options for, I believe, which are going to break down basically to 20 cents per gigabyte on the expansions. Let's see, Tracy, I joined less than 24 hours ago, and man, I love the way you communicate with your customers. I'm very pleased to hear that. We're always trying to gather as much feedback and involve the customers in the process of developing vooplayer more, so that way we're well aligned with what we're trying to accomplish and provide value to you guys. Let me see, Vijay is saying, is there full integration with ActiveCampaign for capturing leads? Vijay, yes. So if you go to up here on the top, you should see your name. So you can just click here and go to integrations and APIs. And here, I believe you should have ActiveCampaign. Yep, you do have ActiveCampaign, and you can just provide your API key and your URL, and that way we'll hook up to all of the campaigns. I'm not sure if this was for ActiveCampaign or GetResponse, but I believe one of those two recently we've identified a potential conflict with how we want to integrate, and instead of retrieving the email lists, we were retrieving the email forms, which still works, but it required a slight workaround. So do give that ActiveCampaign a go and see how it behaves, and if it doesn't behave, just reach out to us at support@vooplayer.com with the details, so we're able to facilitate that integration better. But basically, it's available here under integrations, and which kind of makes it available in turn in your videos. So then if you come over here to any of your videos and you want to capture an email, so I'll come over here and say, all right, I want to use this video to capture an email in the, let's say in the second, then I can just say connect to an autoresponder, and Currently, maybe I'm just going to click here on connect a new integration, and I don't have active campaign, but I could. So if I had active campaign, I could select active campaign here, and then it would give me to select which list do I want people to have those leads go to. But you can always come directly into here and say, hey, I want to connect with active campaign, and that's gonna guide you through the rest of the process. If we don't have your autoresponder here and you're not able to capture leads through an HTML form, you always have an ability to connect with Zapier, meaning that you can do almost anything, any sort of an integration with those videos. So do give this a read if you're curious about how to integrate vooplayer with any marketing tools that you are using in your campaigns, which is really. So what a vooplayer really boils down to is, yeah, we are a hosting provider for your videos, and we are looking to have a lot of great features for customization, branding, and so on and so on. But what really makes vooplayer kind of stand out from the crowd is that it are those marketing integrations and how video plays into your entire marketing ecosystem and how you want to utilize it. So a lot of it is revolving around marketing, and the biggest part of that is integration. So any feedback that we gather with regards to how you plan to integrate vooplayer in your marketing campaigns is simply invaluable to us. So any feedback you have with regards to that is more than appreciate that. William is saying, will we be able to overlay a video on top of a video? Yeah, I think we covered that in a previous webinar call, but I'll go through it once more. So let's say I want to put a video on top of this video. I could do this with a vooplayer video, but just to kind of boast, I'll just take a YouTube video. First one which comes up. So this one, let's take this one, and I'll say I want to share this video. Where is that embed option from vooplayer? I don't know how to grab an embed code from YouTube. Maybe it's not allowed on this video. Let me just pause that, share. There it is, embed. So I'll just grab this embed code, and let's say I want to put this video, and do I have an autoplay option? No, let's leave it like that, just for demonstration purposes. So I'll just grab this embed code, and let's say I want to put it over my vooplayer video. So what I'll do is I'll come over here to interactions, and I'll create a new overlay. And I don't need, because this is just going to be a bare video, I'm just going to switch this to, I want this to be as simple as possible. So I'll just switch it to the annotation. I don't need any sort of a headline. And I'll come over here to the content of the video and just replace the code with that code from YouTube. And so that way I can say I want this video to last from, I want this overlay to last from second 1 to second 4. Unfortunately, my video only lasts 4 or 5 seconds, so I don't have an ability to do much more. But basically, this is going to create an overlay for me. So did I say second 4 there? Let me just double check that. Because that doesn't necessarily look right. Yeah, so second 1 to second 4, and then I'll update that overlay. So now when let me just go back to the beginning. So now when I play my video, you'll see that I have a video on top of my video. And you're able to really customize this to your heart's content. Basically, with overlays, you can embed anything inside of videos. We've had a lot of different integrations, such as people embedding videos on top of videos, people embedding web pages on top of videos, people embedding Google Ads on top of videos, and so on and so on. So anything that you can do on a web page, basically you can do inside of a vooplayer video, inside of an overlay. Basically, the space is kind of constrained because you're inside of a video, but yeah, basically you can embed anything that you can embed on a web page. All right, Eric is saying, any plans to integrate with other email providers other than via Zapier? I use drip.co after moving from Infusionsoft. there is a big list out there. That's all I'm gonna say. There is a list of maybe 100 to there are a lot of autoresponder request integrations which we have, and it's really a nightmare to manage that list. So basically what we're doing is every time somebody, and I think drip.co is on there, so every time a new feedback request gets there, we kind of give it a +1, and then once we get to a point where we want to integrate some new ones, we do. So apologies in advance if we're not supporting every autoresponder possible, but there's just so many of them out there and so many different use cases for them. Basically, we're taking them on per priority basis. So I'll give drip.co an upvote. So hopefully that will come to a priority point where we can start working on it. Dave, can you add multiple autoresponders from the same vendor, e.g. several Aweber accounts? Yes, absolutely you can. However, you're not able to, at least currently you're not able, that will be interesting to see, but you're not able to send one opt-in form to many different accounts. Basically, you would just one opt-in form is currently tied to one integration. It will be interesting to see how we could make one opt-in form connect to several opt-in integrations. But basically, as far as just management of autoresponder providers, you're able to add 5 different ActiveCampaign accounts and then choose which one you want to utilize. Let's add ConvertFox. That's interesting. Somebody, a couple of webinars ago, somebody asked for ConvertFox, and there's Dimori, I think he was asking for ConvertFox. We've looked into that, and I've seen that they are also, ConvertFox is also pushing a lot of their integrations through Zapier. However, I haven't, when I was testing that, I wasn't able to find their Zapier app available yet, so it might be still be in beta mode. So from what I figured, they've went live, ConvertFox, last year, sometime last year, in the last quarter of last year, actually, I think. So they're still pretty young. So we'll look into how we want to provide that integration. That's definitely something that's on top of the list. Can we add tags in ActiveCampaign when a prospect starts watching, and other tags for those who finish the video, maybe through Zapier? We do not provide data in Zapier as far as which point the viewer got to. So we're getting pretty advanced here with the integrations, but there is a way to do that. However, it's somewhat convoluted, and we're definitely one of the things, as I mentioned, for the plans in 2018 that we want to facilitate follows along the lines like this. So you're not able to strictly apply tags, but you would be able to manage those people on different lists. So how would you do that? So I'm gonna come over here. I came over here to my audience and then audience segments, and then I'm gonna create a new audience segments, which is gonna called completed X video. So I'll create that audience segment, and by default, that's going to give me all of the emails that I've captured from all of my videos, which might take a second. But basically, I'm going to filter that down and say I want only people who have watched a specific video. And if I remember correctly, that was a meditation video, which I had. So I can add that to the segment and say, give me only people who have watched more than 50% or more than 99% or less than 50%. So that way I'm able to group people by the video which they've seen and for how long they've seen it. And then basically, so I create my I don't want another video. So I create my segment as I want it and specify all of the different filters which I want. And then I can come over here to integrations and then, again, connect an integration which I want. So I can connect this integration that all of the people who are matching this particular segment, as soon as they're added to the segment, they'll also be sent to this integration. So as I said, this doesn't necessarily provide you with an option to add tags or any custom attributes to those people in the autoresponder, but it does give you a bare bones ability to send them to different lists and different integrations based on the conditions which they meet for viewing your videos. So that's something that's kind of very simple right now, but it's definitely something that we're looking to really expand upon in 2018. All right, let's see. VJ is also, we stepped over time significantly, so no more questions. I'm just going to start wrapping this up. So is there a gallery or portfolio on your website that shows all of the wonderful features in action? No, there is no such thing currently anywhere available online. We've considered that, but it's been a hassle putting that together, as a lot of our efforts have been devoted to development of the application. So we haven't necessarily given as much thought to promotion yet. Again, one of the things to change in 2018 as we've reached a somewhat stable point of where we want to be with vooplayer and identified the direction in which we want to take it from a strategic point. Now we're able to start kind of dedicating much more efforts and energy and money to our promotion efforts. So one of the things maybe to happen is to have some sort of a portfolio with all of the features being able to demonstrate live. All right, and Tracy, here's the final question, is asking, can you explain a little about why we might use the Google Drive or Dropbox integration? So I think you've answered your question from the beginning, Tracy, of how you could manage storage better. Some people don't want to pay for additional storage, and as I said, performance is not such a big indicator for them. And some people go to an extent of creating different Google accounts so that they can get 15 gigabytes each time that they sign up for an account, and then host those videos on Google Drive or on Dropbox, and then utilize those links so they can just come back here and then just paste those Dropbox or Google Drive links into here, so that we're streaming them from Google Drive or Dropbox. So that's one way to circumvent using storage on our end, but it goes without saying that that's impacting performance, because then we're not streaming from our servers. Then we have to, when a client requests a video, then we're going to have to send the request to our server, and then our server is going to have to make a request to Dropbox, and then that definitely slows down the process of streaming that video. So that's why we recommend hosting your files on vooplayer. How impacted would performance be if there was a Google Drive integration? We're on G Suite, so we have a tons of storage, and all of our videos start in Google Drive. If you're happy, so that's one of the things that vooplayer kind of does differently from competition, like let's say from Wistia or from Vimeo. We allow people to utilize their own storage from wherever they have it. So if you have a lot of videos on Dropbox or on Google Drive, you can start using Google Drive videos. So you can just come here and where it says I want to create a video by URL, and then you can just paste the URL from Google Drive, and then you can just use it directly from there. So that's going to mean that your video is going to live, and it's going to be hosted on the Google Drive servers, and we're just going to stream it from there. How impacted would performance be? As far as, to be honest with you, as far as streaming the video itself, I don't think it's that big of a, that's a milliseconds difference in the speed of the video. However, one key performance indicator which would be impacted to a somewhat significant level would be the initial load time of the video. So there might be like half a second, or maybe even sometimes a second delay while we go to the Google Drive server and then fetch it back and serve it to the client. So that's kind of the only reason why we kind of recommend uploading the videos, because then we have them available instantly and are able to deliver them without delay. All right. So yeah, as I said, we definitely stepped over time in a big way, but there's been so many good questions today. I haven't even gotten to cover everything that I wanted to from my list. But this is a good problem to have. So I'm definitely pleased that a lot of you joined today. Hopefully you'll join again next week so that we can continue this discussion, as well as that I can finish presenting what I started this week, and hopefully so we're able to gather a lot more feedback. As I said, we'll post a replay both to Facebook and YouTube sometime tomorrow so that we can review it. And there's been a lot of great points of feedback today, as I said. So thank you everybody for participating and for helping us improve vooplayer, and hopefully you'll continue to join so that we can make that a more ongoing effort. All right. Thank you again, everybody, and hopefully we'll talk next week. Bye for now.